Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back in Kansas. And we need to go over a couple things during this match. Now this is a great game into Kansas. Make no mistake, it is a great game into Kansas. But this match isn't necessarily about me. Though we are going to have quite a bit to talk about in terms of me. Starting with, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but my priority in most of my games isn't to survive. I know, it's crazy. A lot of folks think, well, I gotta survive the battle every single time I go out, so I'm gonna play very, very conservatively. And that's gonna lose you a lot of games. My goal every time I go out is to do as much chaos and damage as possible to the enemy team, as well as trying to secure the win before I die. Now, you can do this a couple of different ways, but, you know, like I said, chaos and damage and playing caps, if it's a domination, is a huge advantage for your team, especially as a battleship captain. Hello, Hipper. You're looking kind of sweet and juicy out there, and we get the free shot without being shot or detected. Oh, that looks so god dang good. Yeah. Yeah, you're lucky you're still alive, Hipper. Most Hippers don't survive that. Let's just be honest. But he got lucky. He only took 4 shells. So he gets to live another shot. However, his luck is about to run out as, you know, I don't generally miss opportunities more than once. Now we fire the front guns, we see he's turning out, we fire the rear guns a little bit higher. We're expecting him to turn away, and he does exactly what we expected him, but he does it much quicker than I was expecting, so he actually gets away with it. So well done to him. Now we've got an Iowa pushing over here, we have a Mogami over here, and we have their Hipper. Our destroyer and our cruiser are both trying to grab the base. Our cruiser has put himself in a position where he is going to be absolutely mangled by that Iowa if we're not careful. So we go ahead, we focus the Iowa here. He is the biggest threat to both us and our allies. So we go for the Iowa, he's broadside on, he's begging for it, and first shot hits 3 pins, no real damage. And then we hit him again and we get a couple more pins and no real damage. That Iowa's very fortunate, and you're gonna see that this Iowa gets away with far too much in this match. I know the Iowa pretty well. I don't know if y'all know this. I know the Iowa pretty well. I know my Kansas really well. This man needs to go play the lottery. Alright? For reals. But it doesn't matter. He's still sailing basically flat broadside to us, so we take another one, and now we're talking. There's another 10, and there's another, like, 12. So we just took about 23k off of that man right there. Ish. Not perfect, but our team has managed to grab the cap. Now notice, I'm not running around the island here. I don't have a problem going around the island, depending on what the enemy is doing. But here, I'm not worried about charging around the island. And that's when the Zara shows himself. So, to recap what we are up against in this one, we have their Hipper, we have their Mogami, we have their Zara, and we have their Iowa over here. Okay? That's 3 of their highest DPM ships and an Iowa. That's rough. Okay? That's a lot of firepower. And I don't know if you noticed it or not, but one of their destroyers is here as well. Which is definitely what you would call not preferable. The ship is on fire. So, now with all of the firepower against us, Spartan really needs to think twice here about what my plans are. Now notice I didn't fire right away because he's in the middle of a turn. I want to see what he's going to do. And this is something that just drives me freaking bonkers. He's going straight for the T-Bolt Shuffle. Like, dude's not playing around. He's at maximum range for the Mogami. He's gonna run straight into the edge of the island, and you can see his stupid freaking boat strafing along the edge of the border instead of just stopping. Personally, I would rather see the ship come to a dead stop when it hits the border like that, like it's an island, so that you have to reverse, because you shouldn't be able to cheese it. Now, Gneisenau's coming over here as well. So again, let's recap. We have Iowa, Gneisenau, Hipper, Mogami, we have Zara, and a destroyer was over here. So that's 6 out of the enemy's 9 ships on one side of the map. Against a Charles Martel, which isn't long for this world. A destroyer who has already moved on, which is fine. I have no problem with that. He grabbed the cap early. He's still in the cap. He's launching torpedoes, but he's playing with fire out there. And a Kansas. And let's be honest, it's going to come down to the Kansas playing out of its freaking mind in order to try to win this side. Because the Charles Martel, as good as that ship is, didn't last very long. Now, this Iowa could have absolutely devastated me here. Hipper's made a huge, like, misplay here. You can't do this. I've already hit you for half your hit points. That's your entire advantage, and oh my god, those were rail guns. God, I love the Kansas, but Hipper goes down. Obviously, he's trying to torp us, so we're gonna get around the island. We're gonna go forward and try to make sure that we don't get torped. And we know that their Iowa's here. Oh, look, torpedoes. Who could have seen that coming? Right? I mean, nobody could have foreseen that. And that's when the Iowa starts to pop around the corner, and we get the one gun that was loaded off, and they all fall short because reasons and stuff and things. And we angle away from them to maintain as little damage as possible, and you can see we double Citadel the man and leave him with no health. Now here's where Spartan, aka me, makes a huge mistake. I leave that Iowa alive. This is what comes down to prioritizing targets. I leave that Iowa alive because I figure, okay, I can kill him easily in one shot. Mogami also can be taken out very quickly in most cases when you're this range. But, of course, RNG says no because I have shells fall short and go long, but not hit the thing in the middle. But then we hit him and we get one Citadel, and that is heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. My entire game plan here was revolving around having that shell, or that shot, kill that Mogami. Why? Because Mogami's a prolific fire spammer, and we know he's going to be setting us on fire. And so we go ahead, we fire the gun. We know one gun gets loaded before the rest, so we're ready for it. It's out. Are we going to get the kill? Nope. It just does nothing. We have no idea what happened. Now, what is our ship smasher doing? Now, our ship smasher here is just like sailing in circles. He's not dropping torpedoes on anybody. He's not doing anything particularly useful. He's not trying to give me will to rebuild. He's literally just sailing around with his thumb up his butt. Like, that's legitimately what he's doing here. And as well as he played the early part of this by killing their destroyer, getting in and grabbing the cap, the rest of this, not so much. Now, you can see that I focused the Gneisno because I've got a destroyer behind me and an Iowa who's low health, so I figure destroyer's gonna kill the Iowa. I was wrong. I should be killing the Iowa. And now I'm in a position where I've got no choice but to focus this Iowa, get rid of him because he's already healed once. If I let him heal again, now suddenly he's back up to a third of his health. He gets his full salvo away from his front guns, and we go ahead and follow suit with 12 guns, and he hits us and doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but we're able to barely hit his superstructure. 7 ricochets. I don't know if we hit his guns or if we hit off to the side. I didn't get a very good look at that salvo, but Gneisno's outside of torpedo range, so we don't have to worry about that. But we weren't able to finish off the Iowa. And our ship smasher has managed to die, which leaves a single destroyer on our team, no destroyer on their team, which is going to be huge. Now we have a 2 cap to 1 advantage currently. The only cap we don't currently occupy is the one that we spawned next to and have been pushed out of. Now this guy's over-angled here, so I'm like, okay, he's dead, right? This is death for the Iowa. But in his dying breath, of course he managed to destroy one of my guns, turning me essentially into a Alabama or Massachusetts. I only get 9 45 caliber 16-inch guns to fight this Gneisno, and the Gneisno's faster than me by quite the margin. Now we get a good shot with 2 guns in through that bow side plating, and we are going to do some damage. And you can see I'm actually heading on the map towards a teammate, which I see is right here. There's a Colorado 5 kilometers from me. If I can get to him, I can get will to rebuild. That's my next play. I'm hoping that he helps me kill this guy, but you can see Gneisno's actually getting, like, salvos that are out of his mind. He's getting shells that are literally touching, but we're 5 kilometers away. Even German battleships struggle to miss at this kind of range. So we go ahead, we aim high again, knowing that he's got an icebreaker. We destroy one of his guns, which is actually huge. And you can see we're not quite able to get in range to grab the will to rebuild because I had to stay angled to the Gneisno. I couldn't just turn flat broadside. Should I have tried? I don't know. It comes down to one of those decisions where you're like, okay, if I open up the full broadside, they're going to kill me. Even if I get within will to rebuild range, the likelihood that I die due to having multiple penetrations is high. I was hoping that the Gneisen, or the Colorado would work with me a little bit and turn towards me, but instead he turned away from me and then also didn't shoot the Gneiseno at all until after I died. I don't know why, but it was the thing. Now, here you can see he's up against the Gneiseno. We left the Gneiseno on very little health, and he should have the easiest kill of his life here. But instead of killing him outright, he's actually going to trade with this Gneiseno. He does kill him, but Gneiseno was able to turn all the way back around, and I wonder what he could have been doing, guys. What on earth could a Gneiseno do where he flips all the way around to the other side where he doesn't have his guns ready? Oh yeah, he gets torpedoes. And this guy had already used his damage con to put out a single fire, so now he is perma-flooding, and the Mogami manages to punch him in the mouth and finish him off. Now, if you're paying attention, our team still has a 2-1 advantage, and we have a huge points lead. Now, it's at this point I get into the chat. I don't get into chat very often, but I get into chat here, and I'm like, guys, listen, you don't have to do anything stupid. We are winning on points. And I'm like, Destroyer, for the love of God, don't go through Bravo, go around the island, go to Charlie, and cap the base. Because I'm already anticipating this stupid Mogami getting himself killed because he's 9 kilometers from a freaking Vanguard and broadside. How on earth is this going to end? I wonder. Bonk. Goodbye. And suddenly, our Destroyer has an opportunity for the rarest medal in the game that I'm aware of, which is the Solo Warrior. Now, the Solo Warrior is earned by being the last enemy, or the last person on your team alive, and winning the match against 4 enemy ships, or more. Now, this is a tall feat, normally, but in a domination mode, you can actually cheese the crap out of this, especially in this situation. Our team has controlled multiple caps for the entire game, and that gives this guy a 300-point advantage. Now, fun fact, he doesn't actually have to go to Charlie and capture this base. He could have just sailed off into the sunset and just left everybody behind. But, as I had already told him, and I'm sure he was probably going to do the same. Now, just because I remind somebody doesn't mean they did something because I told them to, okay? Let's be real. But this is probably his plan all along, and I just happened to, be there to make sure that he thought about it. Because I didn't want to lose this match. It's a great match. We did 176,000 damage. We had 4 Citadels, 77 targets hit with the Kansas. And here, I'm not going to lie, I was terrified. I thought this guy was going to open fire because he was pointing his guns at him, but no. He has no intentions of putting himself in that kind of danger. Yet. He will decide to make a shot here in a little bit on the Mogami to reset cap, which I don't hate, and I'll tell you why when we get there. But again, you got to look at the points. Like, we are not going to lose this match unless you die. That is the only way we lose at this point. There's 2 minutes to go. Okay, they currently have 1 cap. They're about to get a 2nd cap, and they might get a 3rd cap if he doesn't get this reset. Now, as the Mogami goes behind this island, the Fletcher is going to take a shot here, which I thought was a little bit early, a little premature, because I know how hard the Mogami's HE can slap anybody, let alone a destroyer, and you can see he actually doesn't get the reset. Actually, nope, I lied. On the last shell, I think he did get a reset. But it looked like he missed at the time. I'm like, dude, that was risky. Now, I know he's got 12,000 hit points, but the Japanese cruisers get ridiculous accuracy. And with their hard-hitting HE, it's just not worth the opportunity. Like, it's not worth the risk. But he does manage to get his Fletcher into the Charlie cap, and that's going to allow us to guarantee the win, because it's going to take one of their caps away. They're only going to be gaining 3 points per, well, I say 3. They're going to be gaining 6 points per tick once they get the center cap capped. but it's less than a minute left. So it's a guaranteed win. And that's one of those things, like I said, like I try to guarantee the win for my team before I die. I don't mind dying. Like, that's never been an issue. I don't mind. I'm the most aggressive battleship captain in the world. And my entire goal is not necessarily to survive, though if I survived more, I would probably win more. Because there are several matches that I run into where if I had survived, I could have easily won the match, despite, you know, and had some crazy videos. Most of those games are videos on the channel, and you guys could also see, you know, what I'm talking about. But, yeah, with 10 seconds left, I don't believe we're going to get this base capped in time, but it doesn't matter because, again, we're denying them points. They're not even close. They're literally 200 points below us. So, a great little solo warrior for the Fletcher. Easiest solo warrior of his life. Literally just turn around, run away. 176,000 damage for us. 2,500 base XP. Ship Smasher, like I said, did a pretty solid job early on. Getting rid of the destroyer, grabbing that base early. But, unfortunately, not doing much after that. And then getting himself killed and still not accomplishing anything after that. So a little annoying there. I was expecting him to help get rid of the Iowa. He didn't manage to do that, and so on and so forth. But again, had I finished the Iowa initially, I think I survived this match and end up winning the game handily. Like, it wouldn't have even been close, and I would have had another over 200k game in the Kansas. But let me know what you guys thought about this one. I think it was a pretty solid game all the way around. Some great advice in there for both people who are like me and super aggressive, trying to win the match before you die rather than trying to survive the match. That's the difference between me and a lot of other players. Like, don't get me wrong, as I stated during the video, if I managed to survive more games, I probably would win more, just due to the fact that I would be able to affect the outcome at the very end. Whereas, even when I have ridiculous games like this one, all it takes is one or two people on my team to throw at the end and I lose the match, despite having a great game and doing lots of things against all odds on my side. But anyway, let me know what you guys think, and if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.